Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the State of the Game in-game edition. I will be your host, Dungeon Master Brandon Calloway, otherwise known as DMBC. Hey, listen, before we get rolling today, I have to ask you guys a favor. Please, if you would, no matter where you're finding us, be it iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere free podcasts are sold. I know, it's hokey. Don't shoot the messenger. But anyway, the reason for this favor is because if you're listening to us, obviously you like us, or maybe you're curious about us, but not in that weird sexual way. But hey, whatever floats your boat, right? Anyway, I would really appreciate it if you would leave us a rating of 5 stars. And if it can't be 5 stars, then whatever. But along with that rating, let us know why you couldn't rate us 5 stars in a review. And if you did rate us 5 stars, let us know why. These reviews help us out tremendously, guys, like you couldn't believe. So, without further ado, the State of the Game in-game edition.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
And it's time to talk about nonsense. Here we are, guys, once again, the State of the Game in-game edition. Hey, before we get going, again, another announcement. I know, I'm just riddled with this shit. Hey, check us out, please, on obviously the website, www.unlimitedrpg.com. If you haven't heard it enough, guess what? You're going to hear it repeatedly, so get used to it. Also, Instagram, we post a lot of needless, useless, pointless shit on there, so it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun with it. So, at UnlimitedRPG, also on Twitter, at UnlimitedRPG, which, you guessed it, more pointless shit. It's always going to be pointless shit, but hey, at least it's going to be games, right? And games are fun. And if you don't think games are fun, why the fuck are you listening to this? So, without further ado, I'm going to talk about some more needless, pointless shit. But anyway, as everybody out there knows, I run several different games. So, I talked about just Dungeon Master tips last time. So, what I'd like to talk about this week would be Dungeon Master mistakes. I know, none of us are perfect. Hell, I'm not even perfect. But guess what? With this advice, maybe you can just get a skosh closer to running that perfect game. So, in no particular order, number 1, names don't matter, and why this is wrong. Names are small, but probably one of the most important features to your player characters. They have a name. It's not player character 1, player character 2, player character 47 if you're playing in my game. Basically, simple solution here, take fucking notes, people. This is generally a good idea, you would think, right? Well, it is. But especially useful for names. Have a whole page or two devoted to names, be it non-player characters, your actual player characters, names that you can refer to. I know I said this or had something like this in the last episode, but just wanted to expound on it. I suggest referring to your players by their character names even in combat. Don't refer to them by their actual names. This helps them. This keeps players encouraged to all do the same. If you got somebody named John Paul Jones across the table, don't refer to him as John Paul Jones, okay? Refer to him as his character name, because again, it will keep people engaged in the game. Even if you have to, like if you're just starting out, put small nameplates in front of them, like note cards or something like that. Hell, you can even go with the old school "Hello, my name is blank" stickers. Also, in terms of non-player characters, nothing makes NPCs seem more insignificant than having the Dungeon Master take 5 minutes just to create a name for him. I know, it's almost like I'm on a record here, but use a name generator if you have to. There's plenty of them online. You can take a 10 or 15 minute brainstorming session before you even play to come up with maybe 10 male and 10 female names that you can have just on tap for such scenarios, like if you walk into a bar or an item shop or whatever. Trust me, your players will suddenly give the encounter way more attention, assuming that they feel it's important. Trust me, it works. All right, trust me. Trust your Dungeon Master. Number 2, Do not make expectations clear. Why this is wrong. Everybody plays tabletop games differently. Different dungeon masters work out different social contracts with their players, and expect different things from them. When a game starts, both the dungeon master and the players are expecting different things out of the game. As a dungeon master, you cannot simply expect your players' expectations to match up with yours. Because I'm telling you now, if you believe they will, your game will not only suck, you will have really, really, really bad communication. The solution? Well, I just said it. Communication. Tell your players what you expect out of them and what you expect out of the game. This can be anything ranging from an out-of-character chatter to who's bringing the snacks to what the hell your house rules are to whether or not drinks go on coasters. You cannot be mad at your players. For example, you can't be mad at somebody when they say, well, I only have 5 hit points less, unless you've told the group that they shouldn't tell other people that information. That technically metagaming. So you're a dungeon master, so communication is key. Your players can't follow your expectations unless you have to actually share them. Or you actually have to share them. See, even my communication sucks every once in a while. Talking is hard. Anyway, on to number 3. Downplaying character death. Why it is wrong. Character death in any campaign, regardless of the system, is the biggest deal there is. Guys, dungeon masters, please, everybody unite on this. Character death is the biggest thing that can happen in your game. Even though your NPCs die by the fucking truckload, when a player character dies, handle it with care. Handle it with super care. Handle it like you're walking on eggshells. As the Christmas story says, fragile. No, I'm not an idiot. I understand it is fragile. What I'm trying to tell you guys is handle this shit with care. You have to. Such moments can be emotional ones for any player, even the dungeon master. Especially if the player really enjoyed playing that character. Never, ever, ever brush off a character death like it's nothing. It should always be an important moment in any campaign, so do not neglect it or treat it like one. Here is my solution. There are many ways to deal with a character death appropriately. First and foremost, the absolute best method in my eyes is to handle it by talking about the possibility of a character death before the game even starts. Explain that death is a possibility and what the options are for players should their character die, such as taking over an NPC, building a new character, waiting for a resurrection, etc., etc., etc. As long as you do this, it tends to soften the blow. It can get your players to know and understand that death could be coming, and they really need to really be on their best behavior. Not behavior, that's really actually the wrong thing to say, but they should really be on their guard. The second step you should take with a character death is make it a big deal during the game. Whenever a character dies in one of my games, I change the music immediately because it is it's death time. Which is a really bad way to put it, but it happens. But take a good minute to describe dramatically how the character died. When we had Echo die in one of the previous games, Nivara and Kaladin did some very, very, very cool things. Kaladin struck out towards the beholder and was going to give it its all. Nivara made a charge and stabbed it in its back, and they killed it. The third step in facing a character death is to not make the player sit out. Even if a character isn't available for them to play, give them some personal attention on a side quest, for example, like in a high fantasy setting as they meet their god or goddess. Give them access to something special because they died. Maybe a divine meeting. I used to do that all the time in my games. A peek into a cutscene that what their ghost sees. That kind of thing will make them feel less like they died in vain. Now, granted, even though I did not do that for my last character that died in my game, everybody gave her an outpouring of well wishes, I guess you can say. So it wasn't truly all that bad. And she already has a new character. So, moving on to number 4. And before we move on to number 4, I could probably spend an entire podcast on character death, which I probably will at a later date. But now, time to move on to number 4. All good villains vanish. Why that is wrong. One of the most annoying things that can happen in any campaign is having the villains simply vanish or teleport away when they're nearing death. Before I go any further here, there are many reasons why you might do this that are completely legitimate. But if it is built into the character, such as having abilities, it makes sense that they would retreat. Okay. However, avoid doing this if it's just a character you put a lot of time into and you don't want them to die. That, to put it in hundreds of players' mouths, is bullshit. All right? Dungeon Masters do not take a victorious moment away from your PCs. That is horseshit. You should not do that, and that is a metagame on your part. Solution: if you throw a villain at the player characters who is supposed to, quote, get away, end quote, make sure they have treasure that allows them to do so in their inventory. If they've been rubbing a ring of teleportation for the last 7 battles, that ring better damn well be on that body when the players finally drop him. Along these lines, however, do not throw a ring of teleportation onto a villain without it being accounted for cost-wise. Such items are like super expensive and should not just be freely given to an annoying challenge rating 2. That would be silly and willy-nilly, and all kinds of other really stupid analogies I can throw in there. There are so many ways to solve this issue, truth be told. The bottom line is that you should never, ever, ever throw an enemy at your players where its destruction would ruin your story. When player characters see a foe, they're going to try their damnedest to kill it and may pull out all of the stops when you are not prepared for it. So, obviously, be prepared for the possibility that the enemy may throw themselves at you and you might die. Do not toss in countermeasures at the last minute because you weren't really giving it your all, and the PCs are not going to give you a fair chance to win, which, trust me, they will catch on to. You have to be prepared, which was rule number 2 on the last podcast. Before, do not be a dick. Wheaton's Law, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. If your players get one on you, then they get one on you, and just move on from there. That is probably one of the most awesome things a player can do to a dungeon master, is get one on them. It's their job. It's their job to win. It is your job to tell the story. Don't forget that. A dungeon master's job is to simply just tell a story. So, with that, we move on to my final piece of advice for this podcast before we move on to the fun stuff today, which is a whole group interview with my group 1, 6 players in total, where they took on Arothidor, the white adult dragon out of the iceberg, Oya Vigaton, and the Endless Ice Sea. That is correct if that sounds familiar to you. We are playing The Rise of Tiamat, and they have just concluded episode number 2. So, let's get this last piece of advice out of the way so we can get to that interview. Finally, critiquing player roleplay and why this is really, really wrong. You should never, ever, ever, as a dungeon master, tell your player how to play their character. Why? As the dungeon master, you obviously control pretty much everything else in the world. The NPCs, the storyline, everything. The only real control that a player has is over their character. If you don't like the way the player is playing their character, you have to remember that the players put a lot of time and energy into developing that character's personality. It can be severely insulting to a player to critique their role-playing style. So, here's my solution to that. If a character is severely interrupting gameplay, talk to the player after the game to find out what's driving their character and what their character's goals are. Don't do it at the table in front of everybody else, because then you're going to kind of be forcing everybody else to metagame that. If a player is having their character act in a rebellious way, it may be because they don't feel like they fit in with the rest of the party, or maybe they dislike other party members. If that's the case, bring encounters into the game where teamwork is just essential, where they have to work together, or where you think the players can learn a little bit about where that particular character is coming from. In the end, the key is to make sure everyone is having fun. If a player is not having fun playing their character in a particular party, encourage them to bring in and try out a new character. Sometimes not all characters are great for a game. I've had it in several aspects and several times in games that I've run where somebody will create a character and it just falls flat. Nobody likes it except for the guy that's running the character. That, or you've got somebody that tries to sneak in a chaotic evil character in a lawful good campaign. It don't work out. communication is key, guys. So remember that. Have fun, Wheaton's Law, don't be a dick, and just tell a good story. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back with an interview with my Group 1, and we're going to actually have another clip as well where our in-house super wizard, I guess I could say, my co-host, Wayne DeBush, playing Lucian the Wizard, completely catches me off guard and kind of throws another character under the bus. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This episode of the State of the Game podcast is brought to you by UnlimitedRPG.com. Don't forget to rate and review wherever you found us. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever. Here we are once again in the midst of the State of the Game in-game edition, and tonight we are with Group 1, and they are going through the Rise of Tiamat module using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set, and they are in Episode 2, the Sea of Moving Ice. They have just vanquished a Rothator in the ice glacier known as Oya Vigaton. Guys, we are fresh out of the session just mere minutes ago. You guys vanquished an adult dragon, adult white dragon, and we had a very new player, a level 1 character that actually didn't die, and is unheard of to have a level 1 character in a fight with a dragon. So we're gonna go around the table here. At the table, I have the player liaison, my co-GM, my co-host on the regular State of the Game podcast, Wayne DeBush. He plays Lucian. Then we've got Krusk, the half-orc monk. Then we have Silvar, he might as well just be the grass that moves. He is the ever-present highest perception that I've ever seen ranger. Then we have the bullseye, known as Thorin, the brand new Skaith. He is a level 1 cleric. And we have Varix. And Varix is our resident fighter. What are you now? Eldritch Knight. Yeah, you're an Eldritch Knight. So, guys, open forum. What did you guys think about the session? What did you guys think about the battle? Let's hear it.
Well, it was amazing that he didn't die. I'm still dumbfounded by it.
Yeah, that's the first thing you can talk about. Is level 1 character fought
who shot a crossbow
level
bolt
20
at the dragon when
monster and lived.
Well, to be fair, we do have to tell our listeners out there that he wasn't in there from the very beginning of the battle. He was very strategically hidden, very in the safety zone, out of the splash zone, as you might say if you're at a theme park. And then he shot one in there. He missed, so he was a part of the battle, but still. So I don't want anybody out there thinking that old DMBC doesn't know what he's doing. We did have to introduce this character somehow into the game, and I wasn't about to give free levels away. So, but Krusk, what did you think with coming in? This is the second dragon that you've actually had to take down in this campaign. You were quite worried there for a while.
Yeah, the way it was all set up, you had it where we couldn't see the dragon at all, and then we were getting hit with breath weapon, and that's never a good thing. I just tried to get the party to spread out so he could not take us all out at once, and we just needed to wait till we could actually get a hold of the thing before we could do anything. But once we got a hold of him, it was all right.
Yeah, the key to this battle, I mean, the deck was officially completely stacked against you guys. The key here was all environmental. If you take away the fog, then you'll be able to see it, then you'll be able to find it and do some damage to it, which, Lucian, you were able to do with the use of a fire spell. You popped off the wall of fire, and that dissipated. You had your ramp time, and
I had no ramp time because I was the last one into the battle, and as soon as I get into the battle, I'm taking a breath weapon to the face.
Right.
I'm like,
Literally.
You slid right down the ramp into a breath weapon.
So
tanking our wizard.
yeah,
Right.
Thankfully, I'm a fairly high constitution wizard, so I could take it like a champ.
Right.
Mind you, I was still at 37 hit points out of 83, so I was hurting.
I'm the tank with 3 and 2.
Silvar, you had an arrow of dragon slaying given to you by Makath the Crimson. That definitely was a turn of the tide in the battle. That took 60 some odd points of damage from that dragon and made him turn his attention fully on you. Did you think that was it for you? Did you think that, it's new character time?
It should have been.
Honestly, I did. I I thought at first, I got an arrow of dragon slaying, I'm good. And then I shot him, and I was like, oh, I'll use my cunning action because I'm a ranger rogue. So I was like, I'll run away. Maybe somebody else will make him mad in the process, but it did not make him mad. He focused
I was
right
making
on
him
me.
mad the whole time. Thank God for invisibility.
But he couldn't see you.
Yeah.
So he thought that the other fighter was the actual wizard.
Which is great.
Oh
And
yeah.
So yeah, when he focused right on me, I was scared. I already had my next character ready to go in my head.
Silvar makes it through another one.
After getting an arrow shot to the head, you kind of, you gotta.
I feel you there.
Yeah, I mean, once you get an arrow shot to the head, a dragon's nothing.
Right. Varix, you were the one that actually vanquished this dragon tonight after Lucian kind of, unwillingly and kind of unknowingly baited you in to have the dragon think that you were the wizard that was
Dropping the bombs.
dropping the bombs on you. What did you think when that happened, and was it a relief for you when you did drop it?
Firstly, this is the first dragon fight that I've ever had in a campaign. I've been playing with you for a long time. Very first dragon I've ever had to fight.
What'd you think?
Deck definitely stacked against us, but as a player, there's always ways to get around that and everything. When Lucian cast his spell and ran, I thought I was screwed. Then I realized my turn next.
Yep.
Thankfully, it was your turn next.
Thankfully, it was. Otherwise, I
Yeah, if Lucy
probably
didn't go
would have
last,
been
somebody
really
went
screwed.
first.
Believe it or not, I actually thought I was dead, taking that breath weapon, and then I had to go after the dragon. I thought I was dead.
I was worried
that was
too
the
when you
first
took.
time I thought I was dead because I just wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Yeah.
Just-
I thought when you took
came
the
over-
breath weapon, I was like, oh great, our wizard who does the most damage is gonna get knocked out in the very beginning of the fight.
Yeah, that would have been a huge.
And after my arrows, I didn't know if after the 2 arrows of dragon slaying, I didn't know if my arrows were going to do anything.
How
Right.
much damage did you do to it again?
130 points of damage.
Yeah, and I did how much?
60 some odd.
So I would have had to hit it like 4 more rounds of full on to even catch up to him if he were to die.
Oh yeah.
So that dragon would have been around 4 more rounds, and
At least.
Because I don't
somebody
know if
would.
my arrows would have done anything after the dragon slaying arrows because I don't have +1.
You guys
weapon.
made it 4 more
But
rounds?
I personally think between the
Can
two,
you guys make it 4 more
the
rounds?
2 dragon fights that I've had, I kind of helped put together the strategy to kill the first one, and it worked out really good. And that dragon was really smart. I think this dragon was really foolish. This dragon had an attitude, and he
had an
was
ego,
focused
if
and
anything.
driven
Yes.
He's very
on
he was
certain
very
individuals, and it was his
egotistical,
own stupidity that got him killed.
Yes.
Because he would be focused on one, but we're all equally just as dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because he switched
him
focus
wanting to find the wizard,
3 times during the fight.
him
But
wanting to go after Silvar because of the dragon slaying arrow, that is what really saved us, because we had the opportunities like, well, he don't give a crap about me.
Exactly. Yeah. If you take a look back at
We were playing hot
Oya
potato with them.
Yeah.
Exactly. If
Exactly
you
what we're
take a
doing.
look back at the glacier as a whole, Oya Vigaton, and you take a look at the things that are in the walls and the other adventures that are there, he was toying around with them. Absolutely toying. So he had an ego.
Huge.
Those adventurers were not as strong as you guys. They were not as noteworthy as you guys. So as they come in, he had an ego. He
he
had
taunted the dwarf right from the get-go.
yeah, taunted him.
He taunted me.
He had a sneak attack ready. He couldn't even see him, and he let them know
Soldered
kind
my
of where they
armor.
were at.
I went from a 21 AC to a 13.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys are right. His biggest weakness was his ego. It was himself. So, and you're right. The other dragon that you fought was much weaker, but
Smarter.
way smarter.
We went that one way. We're gonna draw him into this way, and he came right around the other side. Totally went against what we were planning on.
Yeah. Varix?
Just for anybody listening that happens to decide they want to play a fighter, when you get a chance to take action surge, and it's a possibility that somebody in your party could die if you don't use that, definitely use it, because that's the deciding factor tonight. That is what killed this dragon.
Yeah.
Had I not taken that, Silvar and my character Varix, they'd been
Breath
screwed.
weapon was coming. The exact next action. It was coming. So you're right. I mean, regardless of whatever else weakened it majorly or who else popped it, it was the cunning action, or not the cunning action, the action surge and the extra attack that took it down. That actually saved probably 2 characters' lives. So, I mean, I will say that's good advice. Whenever you've got an opportunity to use that, use it, because you just never know. You really never know. But give me some more thoughts, guys. How was Oya Vigaton in its entirety, with the ice frogs and even a little bit of homebrew content with the tribe up on top the iceberg. What was your guys' experience as a whole in the Endless Ice Sea?
I thought the cave was almost easy in the fact that we only fought 6 ice trolls before we got to the dragon. I was anticipating a lot more battles to kind of weaken us before we got to the dragon. I think the fact that we fought the dragon pretty much at full strength. I think I didn't have my full hit points, but I'm thinking that everybody else is close to their max hit points.
I was at max.
Yeah.
Oh, I was good.
There was like a couple of us that were
75.
down, but not like when we fought the blue dragon.
the blue
we were
dragon.
weak before we
It was
got
white.
there.
Yeah, it was what?
And
Blue.
I just thought this was a lot easier in the fact that when we got there, I mean, we weren't really hurting as much as we were in other battles. I think that saved us, because I think if we were as weak getting there, I don't think we would. I wouldn't have made it, because I was down to 18 hit points, and I healed myself 3 times when we couldn't see the dragon, or no, twice when we couldn't see the dragon.
Well, to our credit, for the environment-wise being in this ice cave, and me as an evocation wizard, this is like, yeah, I got fire spells just coming out of my butt, like, you know.
Yeah, when we got
this-
the ice, I'm like,
this
we
is-
got the wizard, we're fine.
Yeah.
This is going to be the easiest environmental place that I'm going to fight in. Like, I have an advantage.
That's what I
here.
got really nervous when you took that breath away, because I'm like, oh great. I thought Lucian, he'll do mirror image, or I didn't know you had greater invisibility, but I'm like, oh, he'll just do a wall of fire and he'll take the focus and he won't be able to hit him, because the last dragon fight you didn't get hit.
Yeah.
The
I will
wizard
say-
did not
Got
get
to
hit.
ramp
I
up.
will say, to reply to your comments on it seeming a little easy, it definitely was. I mean, as a dungeon master, watching you guys go through this, it was easy for you. But I will say that should also show how far you've come since the last dragon. So, I mean, as the council gave you guys this mission, it was because they feel the fact that you guys are really something noteworthy and special and near legendary, and this would show that. Not necessarily that you came down here and it was a walk in the park for you,
Oh,
because
no,
it
wasn't
definitely
that
wasn't.
easy. I mean, we took damage, but
It's one of those things where before, yes, you guys had such a difficult time with the last dragon that you faced, and this one, you kind of relatively did get out of it sort of unscathed. Everybody's still walking. Some
yeah, last
equipment has
battle
been
we had,
lost,
the
but
dwarf went down.
yeah, but you
He
guys
was
lost somebody at the last one, and even lost somebody on the way to the last one. So, go ahead, Varix.
But on the plus side of things, you know, even though a few things were lost, there's still that room upstairs with a whole lot of stuff to go get.
Right. So there's a
Um,
lot of stuff you guys can
Hey,
retrieve.
we can
So there's-
actually get it now, because
Yeah, we
last
actually
time,
get it.
last time we tried it, we fought a dragon and there was a whole hoard of treasure, but we couldn't get to it because of time and
Yeah.
other enemies that were.
Other
Well,
extenuating
it was
circumstances.
the giant. It was the
Yeah,
frost
the
giants.
giant told us not to get to it.
Which
He
we
just gave
actually
us the
found
treasure
dead.
agreements and told us to get off of get on his castle, basically.
Yeah.
Which
So that
actually
works.
kind of found funny that we found him in here dead.
And when I
Along
meant
with
by easy, I just
13
thought
other giants.
it wasn't easy. I mean, it wasn't like we just walked through the park and just killed these guys.
Sure.
Honestly, I don't think if Lucian would have thrown a wall of fire around the 3 ice trolls in that one room, basically killing them, but they walked through it and we didn't even have to fight them. I think we actually had to fight them. We would have been weaker.
Sure.
So
So where do you guys think, with where the story is now and finding out what happened to the Drakhorn and everything else, where do you guys think the story is going from here? What do you think is next?
We're going to the Well of the Dragons.
yeah, I think this is
I
only
honestly
the
think
first.
we're gonna have a stop in between, because obviously we have to go.
We have to
back
go
to
back
Waterdeep.
to
we gotta
Waterdeep
go to
first.
Waterdeep and
And I
see
think
the
there's
council.
going to be a distraction before going there, because as far as the information we got, they just left like a week or 2 ahead of time.
Sure.
And yeah, I could just teleport us all the way down to like Boulders, somewhere semi-close and go over. But that's, riding or walking without magic, that's going to be like a 6-month trip.
Right.
It's going to be a long time for them to
All
get
I'm
there.
saying is we're in episode 2. We've already fought one dragon. I have a feeling. I'm just saying it. I think there's more on the horizon.
So with this being said, you guys just fought one dragon. Do you think going straight to the well of dragons would be such a healthy idea right now for you guys.
That's where
We
we're
had a
headed.
little bit of luck. I wouldn't say we got lucky, but there was a little bit of luck. I think we had nice dice rolls that really helped us. Nobody got feared by the dragon, and like last
Well,
time our tank
Thorin got feared.
Thorin
Thorin
got
Well,
feared.
only but
I
one
got
round.
feared.
Yeah.
Last time he was feared
Well,
for the whole.
yeah, that's because he failed twice in a row.
Yeah,
No, it
that's what I'm
wasn't.
saying. The rule, he unfeared himself or whatever. He
Yeah.
rolled and made his check only after one round, so he was he wasn't gone or pretty much tanked from the very beginning of the battle,
Right.
running away from the dragon when he's supposed to be fighting the dragon.
Hey guys, sorry to break in there, but I just wanted to let you know I have some audio from the time when Lucian kind of threw Varix under the bus with a well-placed fireball, and, well, let's just play the audio and let you guys in on the hilarity as it happens. I will say, though, that the audio does get a little loud when everybody starts laughing, so you may want to turn it down just a little bit in case you're wearing earbuds. There's your last warning. Off to the races. Let's listen to what happened.
So I will be 7th level fireballing your ass.
Fuck!
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Lucian.
You ready for this?
That'll
12d6?
really piss him off when I can go
What's the
heal.
save on it, man?
19.
Yep, I got a 9.
Dex.
Wonderful.
Attaboy.
Damn,
A
I
lot
see
of
some
dice.
sixes.
It's just a lot of dice, so
Yeah.
it tickles regardless. 20. Tickles.
Dragon feels uncomfortable.
40. 348.
God damn.
An unbelievable heat wave just goes whoosh. The dragon fucking flips out. Its neck goes ching.
Right where Varix was at!
You know how funny that is? You know how fucking funny that is? He now thinks
Wait, this is what Varix said.
Eric is the fucking wizard.
He's like, fucking Silvar! Phew. Oh shit! Where'd you go? Where'd that come from?
He now thinks Eric's a fucking wizard. That's fucking great. You son of a bitch.
The unfortunate thing, I'm invisible, so he can't see me, and I can't tell him, dude, you made a terrible mistake by coming anywhere near this area.
Run. You could have told me.
I can't.
He
because
can't.
No.
The minute
If
he
he-
fucking talks, that dragon's gonna be like, I know where you're at now, motherfucker.
So now he thinks you're the wizard no matter
He could have
what.
walked over and like,
Krusk.
Are you going to use your legendary action?
Can't see him though.
No, I'm not.
Then I will pull that off.
I don't need to because it's obvious he's gonna think that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the point of origin.
Yeah.
You'd have to use your legendary action. to know exactly- 'cause
Fortunately,
I was
he's gonna
behind him.
focus
Yeah.
on
To know
Varix
exactly
the
where it
whole
was.
time.
So he thinks that Varix is
and
the
he
guy.
hates wizards.
So in closing, guys, just for tonight's session, let's get it out there. Any closing thoughts for tonight? Anything you want to say? Anything over to the audience here for the in-game edition? Lucian, we'll start with you. We'll go around the table.
Well, for once, I mean, having a string of not being hit at all, I actually thought I was going to die. I mean, thankfully, it liked the dwarf better than me, so. And I didn't do anything yet, so I didn't know what I could do. But other than that, I mean, I always have fun fighting dragons. And I'm kind of glad we're doing Tyranny of Dragons, because
Hence why you wanted to fight the dragon.
every battle feels epic.
Right.
You get in there and you do the dragon, and you know that it's life or death every round.
Right.
It's not, oh, we know it's a big gang of trolls. Okay, so you just have to mitigate some of the attacks and you're good. This is legendary actions and crazy wing buffets and reactionary things, and there's a lot of layers to everything, and I like that. I like the layers to the combat.
Right. Krusk, how about you?
I really enjoyed the last few sessions that we had that kind of led up to this. The homebrew content and the tribe was really cool. The way you described it, it was disgusting. It was gross. It was awesome. We didn't really know what was going on. We couldn't tell if they were friend or foe. Come to find out, they're not really a friend. And we've got to deal with. I also learned and a little bit more about my character in this fight that you don't always got to go in, you know, balls to the wall, throwing fists because I'm a monk. You know,
Right.
I used a lot of key points tonight doing dodge to survive, and it worked. It paid off.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes defense is the
Don't
best
forget
action
your
you can
hand-to-hand
take.
combat.
Or
Your
invisibility.
101.
Oh yeah, and then I had a one. Yeah, that's where I started doing it. The one-on-one combat with that little guy.
Yeah.
The Brazilian monk.
Silvar?
On a personal level, I had my first called shot, and I rolled a 20, and I decapitated a troll, and that was really good because I've called. I don't do too many, but when I do, I don't ever roll a 20, obviously. So to actually do that, I was like, I almost stopped the game. Like, whoa! I hit my 20. I decapitated him, even though it didn't technically kill him, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, I thought this battle was good with the dragon, even though I was down to 18 hit points. I wasn't too worried.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was obviously, but I thought it was good. I thought the homebrew with the barbarians last session was really messed up. That was probably, but it was awesome. I mean, it really, you really challenged me as being the scout, the guy that goes and looks ahead. Really challenged me as a player a lot in these last two sessions to like put a lot of decisions on my shoulders where normally I try to, and I still did it a little bit, but to put it on my shoulders to actually make the decision of what the party was going to do.
Right.
I thought I grew as a character.
Definitely. Most definitely. Thorin, what do you have to say?
Can I just say the luck of this group is amazing.
Luck.
First session,
No luck.
First session.
I disagree.
Whatever.
man.
Russ
You went up
took
against
out
the
a
dragon,
level
then
4.
died.
Hand-to-hand
We
combat.
have gone into what seems like at least one person's going to die numerous times.
He yielded. That was
Skyreach,
great.
Neratar. Somehow nobody ever died. And it's amazing.
Doesn't die all the way. You made your saves to save yourself.
I don't think I've ever failed to save in this.
Oh, you have. You failed a couple.
Well, I think our synergy is good. We all work well with each other.
You mean our plan to make a plan and then never abide by
Exactly.
the plan?
We all have strengths and weaknesses that work for each other, not against each other. That's why we're all still alive, and Group 2 keeps losing people.
Oh, man, the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Well, I'm just saying they got one of the characters already has lost a leg and
Yeah.
Yeah, and we lost poor Echo last
didn't
week.
like a level 8 barbarian get taken out by a level 3?
Something
monster?
like that, yeah.
And what's more complicated, an adult white dragon or a beholder? What is the difficulty rating? What is worse?
Actually,
Is the beholder stronger?
the Beholder is a little stronger.
Yeah.
Yep. The challenge rating of the adult white dragon is a 10,
Mhm.
and the Beholder's challenge rating of a 13.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I mean, it's,
That is pretty hard.
it is really hard.
I mean, especially didn't little Echo get disintegrated?
Oh, she got
I mean, you can't
disintegrated.
really
It
get
was
up against
bad.
that.
But I think the big kind of, even though it's less on the dragon, the dragons have better legendary actions
Yes.
than the beholder.
The-
The beholder just gets to do more laser beams.
Yeah,
Beholder sucks.
yeah.
But the dragon.
Skaith,
gets all
your
that.
your closing thoughts for tonight, sir. Since this is actually your first game, it's kind of epic. Your very first game with us, actually, and it happens to be one of the dragon encounters, which aren't very frequent. So,
I hope they're not very frequent.
yeah,
What
exactly.
are you talking about? I hope they're more free. We're in Tyranny of Dragons. This should be like every other battle.
Well, yeah, okay. Level 1. Level not
10.
1. Level not 1.
Not one.
So you think you'll be hanging with us for the long haul?
Oh, definitely.
Awesome.
When I finally got in, it was epic.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get you in there,
It was
but
a little slow, but
but
I
we
have to
got
say,
you.
though, I
Fun
like
of
how
an
the DM
RPG.
integrated you in and didn't
Yeah,
feel
it
like
was
he
really-
forced
yeah.
you into the game. Like, all of a sudden, there's a level
It's
1
like,
cleric in your
you
party.
hear somebody
I still
knocking on
think
the
he's a
door.
spy.
Let 'em
Right.
in.
And
Still
I-
a spy in my eyes.
I think
could
it's
be.
crazy that
You don't know.
integrated a level 1 into the
I
situation.
mean, I don't know
we
why
were
a
in,
clearic
too,
would be
right?
a spy, but
As a
Fighting the
dungeon
dragon?
master myself, I would have started him at 3 or 4. So kudos to you for pulling that off and not actually killing the guy because I thought he was going to die. There was just no doubt in my mind.
yeah.
But he did the right thing. He stayed up and he couldn't get the breath weapon.
I think the DM
And that's
was
good.
had confidence in the party to keep him alive, though. I don't think you would have been able to do that with Group 2 integrating a level 1 into a dragon fight. I don't know. I think he had faith in the veterans like you and Wayne keeping
Yeah.
him alive.
And being a new player, you did some really cool things that I enjoyed.
You tried.
One, your voice. The voice
Oh,
was
yeah.
awesome.
The
Two,
method
your-
role playing
your
is always
speech,
cool.
your prayer. That was great.
And the hark, that whole thing, yeah. To actually, when I read a lot of fantasy novels and you spoke, I thought it was pretty cool.
thank you.
Just
Just
Well-
make sure, like, Don't be a hero, especially when you're level 1.
Right.
Don't be
Yeah,
a
don't
hero.
be a hero.
Play
Hide,
smart.
hide behind the monk.
Yeah, but he wasn't paying attention to me, okay?
And he didn't care
So-
if you would have hit him.
Yeah, I know. It
Whatever.
would have been like a scratch.
So Varix, you were the last one to attack this dragon tonight. You killed it, so you're going to be the one to get the last words and slay this podcast. So what were your thoughts, your closing thoughts tonight on this session?
I feel like not only in this session, but just in sessions leading up to it, our group is slowly becoming less of a random group of adventurers and more like a brotherhood. 90% of the time, you know, in the past, we've all kind of been thinking for ourselves.
Doing your own
Kind
thing.
of doing your own thing, but a lot of the times now we're trying to work a lot more together, seeing what can happen. Right before Lucian cast his spell, when I asked him, hey, if you cast a fire spell, can I delay my action to also cast a fire spell so we hit him at the same time?
Right.
And everything. So it's a lot of that, synergy and working together and using each other's strengths and covering up each other's weaknesses that's going on here, and it's really, really working out for all of us. Varix and Thorin have had this kind of bitchy rivalry, where and everything, and
They had one. I still think
in
they
recent
do.
sessions, it's more of a bond than anything now. Varix and Krusk have developed a slow bond thing as well. Varix is learning from Lucian. He's also, oddly enough, learning stuff from Silvar. Just learning tonight because Silvar has used a bow every battle that he's been in. He just learned tonight that he has also wields two swords to do his melee and everything, just like Varix does.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of learning and growing, and I love what we're doing here. I've never had a group that worked this well together before.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there you have it. There you have it. Synergy and the ties that bind create a brotherhood, and a brotherhood is the bane of dungeon masters everywhere. So that's going to do it for this episode of the State of the Game in-game edition. I am your faithful dungeon master, DMBC Dungeon Master Brandon Calloway, with the State of the Game. If you would like more information on our game or anything that we talk about in our game, and even on the regular State of the Game podcast, please check us out at www.unlimitedrpg.com. We will see you guys soon.
And don't forget to subscribe.
As Wayne said, don't forget to subscribe. Check us out at www.unlimitedrpg.com. We are on Twitter and Instagram at UnlimitedRPG. We will see you guys soon.